In today's Eye on Emerging Markets, we head to India. Home prices have been soaring over the last year in the world's second most populous nation, and some say could rise by another 30 to 50%. Well, my next guest is hoping to capitalize on that trend with what will be the country's first branded luxury residence. Vinay Kapoor is the CEO of Westcourt, a London-based developer with offices in New York and India, of course, as well as London, when his latest venture, City View, is under development in the heart of Bangalore. Welcome, Mr. Kapoor. Good to see you here on Fast Forward. Give me a description of the project itself. It's something you're doing with Four Seasons.
That's right. It's a mixed-use project, about 1.1 million square feet, and it'll be a destination which will include hotel, offices, a certain amount of retail, as well as branded residences, which will be catering to both the large family users as well as the transient users, in 1 and 2 bedroom units, which will be above the hotel, and 3 and 4 bedrooms in a separate tower. They're both 30-story buildings.
Now, why in Bangalore in particular?
Well, Bangalore is the Silicon Valley of India. That's where all the technology and the innovation started. It's been growing very rapidly since the mid-90s. And now it's also has probably the best climate in the country, so it's become a very attractive place for people to live, and the quality of life is much better than some of the other cities in India. So that's the reason.
And the rate of growth in India, it's come down quite a bit, but certainly it's one of those countries that a lot of people are keeping an eye on because it's advancing so rapidly. But the population is quite, in terms of its wealth distribution, is quite disparate. What price range are these units going to be in, and what percentage of the population is actually wealthy enough to purchase them?
This will be catering mostly to people who are in the business community or the CEOs of the company who need a more managed environment. India is still building on its infrastructure, and the living environment is still relatively, it hasn't caught up to the growth of India that's been happening. So what this project will do is provide that managed facility, which Four Seasons will end up managing both the residences and the hotel for people. In terms of catering to the markets, we only have about 100 units in total, so it's not a very large inventory. And it will cater to both Indians who live internationally and travel to India and want to have a place there, as well as the local business people who want to live a lifestyle that otherwise has not been available to them.
And the project is not going to be done for another year at least?
No, it's now under construction, but it's still about 2.5 years out.
2.5 years out. How many people are already showing interest? I mean, I just mentioned property prices rising pretty rapidly in India. It suggests that there's a lot of demand still, despite, the global financial crisis and ongoing issues in Europe.
That is correct. India has been growing very rapidly, and so have the residential prices. In the last decade, it's increased very significantly at every level. It's only projects like ours are just relatively new, but there's been a very, very significant exponential growth in the residential market. And that's likely to continue. It may slow down interim when there's a little bit of slowdown in the economy or market. But as you know, India has been growing still at 7 to 8% regularly for the past decade or so now.
Right now, only Indian-born residents can actually purchase real estate.
That's correct.
Do you see that potentially changing going forward?
That's a difficult thing to say. I think from investment point of view, there are restrictions in India, and those are slowly getting eased to attract further foreign direct investment, which is quite significant in India, but it still needs a lot more. The whole country has to be developed over the next 10 to 20 years. But I think in terms of ownership, I don't know. I don't think that it'll be any time soon that change will happen.
All right, Vinay, thank you so much for joining us. We have to leave it there. Look forward to hearing updates on the project. That was Vinay Kapoor, CEO of Westcourt.